For decades, the American suburb has pretty much been a giant dormitory, right? It's the place we leave every single morning and only come back to at night to crash. But there's a quiet revolution brewing. Today, we're going to unpack the blueprint for turning these sleepy neighborhoods into actual, vibrant, productive, 24/7 communities. All right, let's get into it. So, when you think suburb, I bet this is exactly what pops into your head. Winding streets, houses that all kind of look the same, a car in every single driveway. It's an image that's just baked into our culture. It's straight out of the post-World War II boom. It's that whole Leave It to Beaver vision of America, totally uniform, mass-produced, and built for one thing, really, the car. But here's the thing. That was over 70 years ago. So you gotta ask, right? Does that vision still hold up today? Is the infrastructure from back then actually serving the people who live there now? Well, when you look at the data, it tells a completely different story. And that brings us right to our first section, the outdated suburban dream. We're going to look at why that 1950s model just doesn't fit the reality of the 2020s. See, the people living in the suburbs have completely changed, but the physical stuff, the roads, the zoning laws, the whole layout, it's all basically frozen in time, stuck back in the 1950s. Okay, get ready for this, because this slide just completely shatters those old stereotypes. According to the 2020 census data, for the first time in history, the majority of people living in American suburbs are people of color. And get this, nearly half are millennials and Gen Z. We're talking about generations with totally different ideas about how they want to live and work. So that classic white picket fence dream, it's now officially a minority experience. Wild, right? And the problem isn't just cultural. It's literally written into our laws. A massive 75% of urban land in the U.S. is locked into what's called single-family-only zoning. What does that mean? It means it's illegal to build a small corner store, a little cafe, or even a duplex in most neighborhoods. It's a legal framework that was designed on purpose to make you dependent on your car. And, as you can probably guess, the environmental cost of that is just enormous. Because when every single trip, to work, to the grocery store, to school, requires a car, the carbon footprint for each person in a sprawling suburb can be up to 3 times higher than in a dense city. It's all that driving, plus the higher energy needed for all those separate houses. Yeah, in this picture right here, this really shows you the root cause of that car dependency. Look at that layout. All those cul-de-sacs and roads that just don't connect. This is the kind of design where you might have to walk a full mile to get to a store that's technically only a quarter mile away in a straight line. The layout itself basically forces you to drive. So, okay, if the old model is broken, what's the alternative? Well, that alternative brings us right to our next section, a new 20-minute vision. We're talking about adapting the whole walkable community idea for the American landscape. And look, this is not about bulldozing the suburbs and starting over. Not at all. It's about a smart, elegant upgrade, and it's called the 20-minute suburb. So you've probably heard of the 15-minute city, right? It's a really popular idea in super dense European cities like Paris. Well, you can think of the 20-minute suburb as its pragmatic American cousin. It just acknowledges our reality here. We have lower density, meaning fewer homes packed into each acre, and we've already got all this sprawl. So to make it work, it just expands that ideal travel time by 5 little minutes. The really key idea here is retrofitting. It's about working with what we already have. The goal is to create communities where you can get to all the essentials of daily life without needing a car. It's a huge shift, really, from a car-first design to a people-first design. All right, so that's the big vision. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do we actually build this thing? Well, it all starts with creating a thriving local economy. One that's actually alive during the day, not just on evenings and weekends when everyone's home from their long commutes. And the secret sauce to supporting those local businesses is something planners call gentle density. Now, I know when people hear the word density, they immediately picture these giant looming skyscrapers. That is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about what's called missing middle housing. Things like duplexes, townhouses, maybe some small courtyard apartments. Stuff that fits right into the scale of the neighborhoods we already have, but adds just enough people to keep a local bakery or coffee shop in business. So that gentle density then becomes the foundation for the heart of this new suburb, a totally revitalized mixed-use town center. And let me be clear, this is not your parents' old, sad strip mall. This is a vibrant hub designed specifically for the modern hybrid workforce, with professional workspaces, cool social spots, and all your daily needs all right there in one place. In the real economic engine of that town center, it's something called a local work hub. I mean, with the explosion of remote and hybrid work, people need a professional place to get stuff done that isn't their kitchen table, but also isn't a miserable 45-minute commute away. These hubs, they provide that essential third place to work. And we're talking way more than just a desk and some Wi-Fi. These hubs are a complete professional ecosystem. You've got your co-working spaces and shared offices, private rooms for important calls, high-speed internet, of course, even things like distribution centers. And because they're built right into the town center, they're literally next door to the cafes, gyms, and print shops that a real daytime economy needs to thrive. So ultimately, what this does is completely transform the suburbs' identity. It's about transforming suburbs from sleeping neighborhoods into productive 24/7 communities. It's no longer just a bedroom community. It becomes a real place where people can actually live, work, and play all day long. So, what's the big payoff here? What does it actually feel like to live in a place that's been redesigned for connection instead of separation? Let's talk about building a true 24/7 community and the payoff of a neighborhood that's truly connected. This right here, this is the end goal. A 24-hour neighborhood. Picture it. By day, it's a productive hub. The streets are active, local businesses are thriving. Then, by night, it turns into this socially connected community where people are gathering at local restaurants and hanging out in public spaces. The daytime energy feeds the nighttime vibe, and vice versa. They build on each other. So why does this matter so much? Well, the benefits are just huge. For starters, it seriously cuts our carbon footprint by getting rid of so many car trips. It helps fight loneliness and social isolation by actually creating places for people to connect. It gives a massive boost to local independent businesses instead of just big box stores. It creates more affordable housing options by allowing for more variety. And of course, it supports a healthier, more active lifestyle by making walking and biking safe, easy, and convenient. So this leaves us with a final question, something to really think about for your own neighborhood. Look, this isn't an all-or-nothing kind of deal. It happens one small step at a time. So what's the very first tiny step your neighborhood could take? Could it be a new walking path that connects to cul-de-sacs? Or maybe a small tweak to the zoning laws that finally allows a corner cafe to open up? What's that first step to begin this journey?